Hi, I'm John Waterhouse. Welcome to Weekday Wisdom. Valentine's coming up. So, what I thought I'd do with this and probably my next installment is have a conversation about relationships. So, my question to you today is, do you have or do you want to be in a powerful relationship? The points that I want to share with you today apply either way. So, what I have is 12 ideas for creating and maintaining a powerful relationship. And so, if you're in a relationship, great. If you're thinking you'd like to be in a relationship, these are still things that can help you in creating that into your life. So, what I'm going to do is through my list of 12, probably do the first six now and offer you the next six in a couple of days. So, let's begin. The first idea I have is that you must trust your partner. You must trust that their intentions and are sincere. You must trust that they're not against you, even and especially if you disagree on their position. And that's one of the things that happens in a relationship is that we have disagreements. We come from different backgrounds. We have different ways of seeing the world, and we're in this relationship. But that doesn't mean that everything that we do aligns. So when there's a disagreement, that does not mean that all is lost. That means that there's something to think about. And the first thing to think about when there is a point of disagreement is that this doesn't mean that the person is against you, even if it sounds like that to you. They wouldn't be there if they were against you. So they're just trying to figure it out just like you are. So by starting with the idea that they are being sincere, that they are telling you what they really believe, that they're not trying to trick you, and they're not against you, you can move forward. The second point, the second idea I have for you is that we should all put more energy into understanding why something is important to our partner and less energy in defending our own position. That's what comes naturally to us in so many situations is that we want them to understand why we feel the way we do with the idea that they're suddenly going to change their mind. Well, they might, but the best way to approach it is not to defend yourself or to try to get them to agree with what you think. The most important thing to do is to understand why they feel and think the way they do. So putting your energy into asking questions and probing and wanting to sincerely understand their position will create more of an opportunity to come together than anything else you can do. The third point that I have for you, the third idea, is to focus on how much you appreciate them, especially when you disagree on something, because there is a priority of thought that goes into a relationship. There's a priority of what's most important. And the truth is that the matter at hand is seldom the most important thing. What's most important, at least what should be most important in relationship, is the relationship, is the person that you're relating to. And if that's where your attention is, and if you have appreciation for that, if you have admiration for them, then whatever the disagreement may be, you can work it out because it's not that important. Now, that's not always the way we think. We think that what we're focused on in that moment is so important, but the truth is that often it's not. It's a passing moment of sharing ideas, and it doesn't mean that you're right and they're wrong, or they're right and you're wrong. It simply means that you don't see it the same way. And of course, the more that you put into probing that and experiencing and exploring, that is the word I'm looking for, the more likely you are to come to some common ground because your relationship is the most important thing. The fourth idea is always be open to greater understanding of what's going on by expanding your perceptions and altering your beliefs. You have absolutely no control over what your partner believes, but you have total control over what you believe. So you can't change what they're believing. You can argue with them. You can try to persuade them, but the truth is that they're going to change when they want to change. They're going to see it differently when they're ready to see it differently. In the meantime, you have absolute control over what you're looking at in your life. And there's nothing wrong with explaining that, but don't start there. The best way to do this is to be open to understanding them. When you understand where your partner's coming from, and I want you to know that everything they believe, everything that is important to them, has come to them through the same method that you got what's important to you. Some experience in their life told them that this is the way it is. This is the way, this is what's important. This is what's meaningful. And they can change, and so can you. But your work is not to get them to change. Your work is to see how this fits into your life, their perceptions, their ways of being. And can you find a place where you're at peace with it? You don't have to agree with it, but is there a place where you can be at peace with it? Can you find some way to fit it into your life so that it works? The standard things that people go through is things like how one leaves the toothpaste in the bathroom, or if one picks up after themselves. And what I've found in my relationship with Barbara, that my tendency has always been to be more of a neat freak than her. And rather than finding fault in the way she puts things down, to simply pick them up and put them away. I mean, there have been times where I have been criticized for putting things away and her not being able to find them. And I understand that. But at the same time, my need is to have a level of organization. So I put things away and then remind her that I put things away, or tell her that I put things away, so that she knows. And that's just one tiny example of how this works. It works with the little things as much as it works with the big things. So number 5, my 5th idea is your relationship never did anything wrong, so don't blame it. And I've heard people say that in doing counseling and such. People will say, it's just not a really good relationship. We shouldn't have gotten into a relationship. It doesn't work. And that's not true. You are who you are, and they are who they are. And although you may be cohabitating, you may have the same last name, there may be many things that you have in common, but you're both individual, independent thinkers. And you're always going to have some work to do around communicating. And we'll get to communicating tomorrow or with our next session. But communicating is the key. And always from the perspective is, how can I open up to what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing and what I'm experiencing here? How can I be okay with it? What can I do inside of me to make this work? Because that's the place we have our power, is by our own actions and our own intentions. And then the final one I give you today, number 6, is be more present with one another today than you were yesterday, and even more present tomorrow. What do I mean by present? I mean that everything about relationship is learning. It's learning about them. It's learning about how you work together, how you balance together, how you support one another. And of course, Barbara and I have been together for 30 years, or nearly 30 years, and we kind of have the same thoughts. So it's not an issue for us anymore, but it is at the beginning of any relationship. And there are always points in a relationship where those are questions. Being present is the answer. Being absolutely with them, not defensively, not with an intention to persuade, but to be with them, to be with this one that you've chosen to live your life with. If you can do that better and better all the time, you'll have better and better results. You'll have more common ground. You'll be able to relate so much clearer and so much easier once you do that. So these are 6 ideas I wanted to share with you. I'm going to share 6 more in our next session. And I hope something in there touched your heart, something that would help you if you're in a relationship or if you are intending to be in a relationship, something that can help you find your way. Most people in relationship, though, when they're starting out, they're thinking about what they want in the other person. The thing to be thinking about is, what are the gifts that you're going to be bringing to that person in having a relationship? Because whatever it is you bring is what you get. So there's plenty there to think about. I hope some of it had value for you. And I certainly want to know that you are having a fantastic day. I'll see you again soon.